Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you how to make arroz con leche, which translates to rice with milk. I'm pretty sure it's called rice pudding in English though, I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below if I'm right or wrong, or let me know what you call this wherever you're from. Whether you like to enjoy your arroz con leche nice and hot or super cold like I do, this is a perfect dessert for this time of year. It's so sweet and creamy and cinnamony. It is so delicious. It's so easy to make and you need very few ingredients. They're all going to be listed in the description box below, so check that out and let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is boil our water in a large pot. And we're going to put this over high heat because we just want it to get boiling quickly. And then we're going to add to it 2 large and thick, emphasis on the thick, cinnamon sticks. And we're also going to add a little bit of salt because everything sweet needs some salt. And we're going to put a lid on this and we're just going to wait for it to boil. And once it boils, we're just going to add our rice to it. And we're going to put the heat down to medium or medium high. We just don't want it full blast because we don't want it to burn or stick to the bottom. We're going to stir our rice in and we're going to leave this uncovered and we're going to let it cook for 15 to 20 minutes. You're going to want to stir it a couple times in between, maybe every 3 to 5 minutes. Stir it so you're sure that it's not burning or sticking to the bottom. And while this is happening, at the same time, we're going to put our milk to heat up. We're going to warm it up because when we add it later, we want it to be warm because we don't want it to stop the cooking process of our rice. We don't want to add super cold milk to our hot rice. You know what I mean? So this is what my rice looks like after it's been cooking for about 5 minutes probably. We're going to leave this 15 to 20 minutes. You got to keep an eye out on it because you want to add your milk to it when the rice still has some water in it. It's still a little bit moist. It hasn't fully absorbed. You don't want to let it dry out completely and absorb all the water because then that's how you get your rice burnt and stuck at the bottom of your pan, and we don't want that because we don't want to add any color to this rice. We want it to stay white. And so here I am stirring it after it boiled for another 5 minutes, so we're probably at the 10-minute mark now. I'm stirring it. Please don't stir it as much as I'm stirring it. Do as I say, not as I do. Is that how the phrase goes? Well, anyway, this is how my rice looks halfway through the cooking process. We're going to still leave it uncovered. Let it keep doing its thing. So here it is doing its thing. I fast forwarded it, of course, because you don't want to see 5 minutes of my rice boiling. So I went in, gave it another little stir, and we're almost there. You see how it still has a good amount of water in there. We want it to absorb a little bit more. So just keep an eye on it. Do not leave it alone because things happen when you leave food alone in the kitchen. Things happen. All of a sudden, it's burnt and you were only away for 2 seconds. Comment down below if that's ever happened to you. At this point, your milk that you're heating up on the side should probably already be warm. You don't need to boil it. Don't bring it to a simmer either. You just want to warm it through. So once it's warm, turn it off and then just let it wait until we need it. This is at the point where we're going to add our milk. So if yours looks like this after 15 minutes, add your milk after 15 minutes. If it needs a little bit more time, then wait a little bit more time. But this is how it should look when we add our milk. So we're adding our hot milk to this rice and we're going to give that a stir. Make sure it is fully combined, the rice and the milk. Half of this video is just me stirring. And if you are mad about that, tell me in the comments below. Tell me if you're mad at me. And then we're going to add our other milks. We're going to add a can of evaporated milk and we're going to add a can of sweetened condensed milk. Now for this recipe, you can either add 2 cans of sweetened condensed milk, or you can do it how I'm doing it, which is adding 1 can of sweetened condensed milk and half a cup of white or granulated sugar just to make up for that sweetness. But for this amount of rice, you can use 2 cans and not add the granulated sugar, or you can use 1 can of sweetened condensed milk and half a cup of sugar. You still need the can of evaporated milk. That does not add any more sweetness to this. But yeah, after I stirred in and incorporated my 2 cans of milk, the evaporated and the condensed, stirred it up and then added my half cup of sugar and then stirred it up again. And now we're finally gonna put a lid on this, and we're gonna put our heat down to maybe medium low, and we're gonna let this simmer for about 30 minutes, because during this time is when it's gonna get super nice and thick and it's gonna absorb more of this liquid. And you can uncover it and stir it up if you want every like 10 or 15 minutes, just to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom or burning, just to make sure your heat's not too high maybe. But yeah, that was me stirring it at the halfway point at 15 minutes, and then this is after another 15 minutes. So at this point 30 minutes have passed, and now I'm going to turn off the heat. I want you to keep in mind that at this point it's still gonna look super liquidy, super soupy, but the longer it sits, the thicker it's going to get. And I'll show you in a minute here what it looks like after I let it sit for 30 minutes. This is how it looks right after the 30 minutes of simmering, when I turned off the heat. After I turned off the heat, I put the lid on it. I let it just sit there for another 30 minutes with no heat, and then this is how much thicker it got. And it's still pretty hot. It's still gonna get even thicker. It's gonna get even thicker overnight in the fridge. So once I served it 30 or an hour later, it was even thicker, and you'll see that right now in my little cups. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and follow me on Instagram for more food content, and talk to me in the comments below because I love to hear from you. Okay, bye now.